Donald Trump is now crashing out against his own MAGA supporters over Epstein right now, with Trump calling them stupid people, foolish people, and weaklings, all because they care about the thing that he and his people have been pushing for years. And while Trump has been flailing all over the place, where I'll start is with this morning, where he logged onto Truth Social and went on to say, the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again, saying their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. He then goes on to say he's had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. And as far as his supporters, who understand, are people that just want transparency on the thing that he promised them, said, let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. And, when I read that this morning, I was like, this is like a spiteful, gaslighting boyfriend or girlfriend message, which is also why it wasn't surprising that in his Truth Social replies, like his own social media platform replies, which is usually filled with people that glaze him like he's a Krispy Kreme donut, you saw tons of people fed up with Trump constantly trying to undermine this case, even though his administration was the one promising to expose it. And while you had, in his words, his past supporters calling him out, you had also the other side of the aisle grabbing some popcorn and mocking Trump for thinking that a statement attacking his own base was going to get them to shut up. Many specifically appalled that he's calling Epstein a hoax when he was a fully convicted sex offender. Remember, there are very real victims in this situation. Well, there are a wide variety of conspiracies and speculation and unanswered questions with the case. This is a fact. There are victims, and with that, you had some arguing that Trump calling it a hoax, it's just a slap in the face of the victim. And so as all of that's been playing out, we've also seen Democratic politicians getting involved. With, for example, Representative Nydia Velasquez of New York writing, he desperately wants us to look away. So do House Republicans. We're not letting this go. Release the files. And that is reportedly Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego is introducing legislation that would ask the DOJ to release files related to Epstein. And Gallego writing on Twitter, no more secrecy, no more protecting the elite. I'm leading the charge to make the Epstein files public and putting Republicans on the record. Whose side are they on? Right, and that is, yesterday you had Republican Representative Thomas Massie separately introducing a discharge petition to force a vote in the U.S. House of Representatives on releasing the complete files. With us today learning that other representatives like Lauren Boebert co-sponsored the legislation. Right, and that is, yes, if you watched yesterday's show, you know that House Republicans just yesterday blocked an effort to force a debate on the files being released. But as you had places like the New York Times explaining, as more of their constituents demand the release of the files, they are looking for ways to respond. And noting discharge petitions are always an uphill battle and rarely succeed, but Democrats and Republicans alike said this particular issue, one that is definitional to Mr. Trump's political base and is now being seized on by Democrats, could be an exception. So all of this buildup, it's likely at least part of what contributed to Trump waking up and just setting his keyboard on fire. Right? That and, well, I guess people on the right just increasingly demanding that the Epstein files be released and slamming his administration for the way they've let this case unravel. I mean, even had Speaker of the House Mike Johnson appearing on Benny Johnson's podcast yesterday to say,
Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well. We should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there.
And that is in another section of the podcast world. You had Joe Rogan talking about it on his podcast, mocking the Trump administration.
They've got videotape, and all of a sudden they don't. You know, you have the director of the FBI on this show saying there's no if there was. Nothing you're looking for is on those tapes. Like, what? Why did they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible shit? Why did they say that?
Right.
Didn't Pam Bondi say that? She said something about that there was like thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible crimes.
There is. And didn't the FBI dude say that there was nothing?
Kash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay.
And also, regarding the president's own words, he was asked about them this morning. Right in there, it appeared he might have realized he's not completely infallible with his base, with him kind of walking back his comments when he was asked to clarify his Truth Social post, including if he was disowning his followers, to which he said,
no, but I lost a lot of faith in certain people. Yeah, I lost because they got duped by the Democrats.
So Trump then at other points during the press conference continuing to undermine the case while defending Pam Bondi's response to it.
They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people. Pam Bondi, I really think that she's done very good. She says, I gave you all the credible information. And if she finds any more credible information, she'll give that too. What more can she do than that?
Still, you have many, including Donald Trump's biggest supporters, saying that his attitude on this, it's just gonna hurt him in the long run. For example, Laura Loomer doing an interview with Politico today where she said that this controversy, it threatens to consume his whole presidency, and adding, obviously, this is not a complete hoax given the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell is currently serving 20 years in prison in Florida for her crimes and activities with Jeffrey Epstein, who we know is a convicted sexual predator. This is why I said, and I'll reiterate it again, the best thing that the president can do is appoint a special counsel to handle the Epstein files investigation. And apparently, her suggestion is in the cards, with 2 White House sources telling Reuters this morning that officials are weighing a few different options. Things like unsealing new documents, appointing a special prosecutor, and drafting executive actions on pedophilia. In that report, even saying that senior aides have reached out to MAGA influencers to ask them to dial down their criticisms of how the Epstein case has been handled, which may also explain why certain influencers have seemingly gotten in line with the president and others haven't. But, for now, we're gonna have to wait to see how this plays out. But the last thing that I'll say with this, for someone like Donald Trump, who has masterfully navigated his ecosystem in the political world, something feels like it has to be up with him either mentally or health-wise, or with the Epstein case specifically. This is a bombshell situation of their own creation. Donald Trump and many of the people around him, they ran on, we are going to release the Epstein files. The elites, maybe they're being protected by the government. We have to figure out the truth and get it out there. That's why you have to vote, make us the government. But then when they got voted in and they became that government, all of a sudden it became, oh, it's the Epstein hoax. Actually, Biden, Obama, Comey, and Hillary Clinton, they made the Epstein files. And even though they made them, they also didn't use them in the election where I was just crushing them. And then, even though they made everything up, they left them there for me to be able to do whatever I want to once I got into power. Because all of that makes sense. And actually, if you don't believe me, I don't care how much of a fan you were, fuck you, you're stupid. You're unloyal, bad people. It's like at the very least watching an emotionally abusive relationship play out. Like at this point, some of his supporters I think are just hoping that he's sundowning. But hey, for now, that's where we are. We're gonna have to wait to see where things go from here. And I gotta pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts and reactions to everything we're seeing play out?